All right.
And usually shuffle this off. So the way this is going to work is we're going to shuffle between you and I.
So my OCD's kicking in. I got to separate the blacks out.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
That's the way
See,
I'm at.
Hey, everybody. That's the beauty. Oh man, you fucked up. You put a gray one in there.
Did I? But no, that's to see if you were paying attention.
I was.
You know what I mean? This is a test. This is a test. How'd I do? All right.
Pretty well. Are we gonna have to separate the little ones? Or are you?
No. I'm good with that.
Okay.
I'm good with that. This is just the big ones. You know.
Yep. I got other trays. I'll even help.
Wow.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yep. Alexa's really good at the parsing out of the pieces.
It helps, man.
She likes to talk, but she has trouble building and talking, which some people do. And this is a really cool aspect of the podcast that you learn is who can really multitask.
Certainly.
And who is really focused on one aspect.
Sure.
Like, okay, we talk. And then
we sort.
I'll push the piece to you, and then that guy builds. And then as he's like, I had a guy on a while back, and he was building, and then he started talking, and it became his turn to talk.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, casually just brought the tray to me because the podcast.
You don't like to mix the dark gray with the light gray.
No, that's different.
Okay, just don't even do that.
Unless you have a couple, but
that's all right, man. I'm in. I'm learning the way of the sensei.
Yeah.
You know, this is the brick
I've
man.
definitely built a few bricks before.
Sure. All right.
Yeah. And then we'll start off by building the guys. So I'll let you find those guys and you start putting them together.
All right.
Take a look at this book here. And now because you did
Captain Blue Pants.
Because you did this so eloquently.
Sure.
We can put this tray back.
Bam. Look at that.
Yep.
And it fits,
Even
baby.
the tray is the Lego.
It's solid.
And so, yeah. So this is going to be really cool. And so we'll start and see how it goes. What was your first time? I know you built many Legos, I know, with your children. I built Legos when they were younger. I saw that because I wasn't able to come for Christmas. You guys had a little Lego fest and built several sets.
Sure did, yeah.
That was pretty cool. Did you build Legos when you were a child?
Yeah, we had Legos, but nothing to this extent, right? It was just kind of like you get the 150 case bricks, okay?
Right.
And it just various bricks. They didn't have all of the, like, build a car, build a castle.
Yeah.
You just got Legos, right?
They still have those. They still make, like, just a tub, like a classic.
Sure.
They call it the classic set. And it can be, they have different piece counts, different size boxes.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have the long pieces, but all the bricks, right? Like always, something like this, or the single one, or maybe it's 5 or 6 count
like
or whatever. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you'd end up make a plane, make a car, figure it out, so your Uncle Kevin and I, we would we'd have Hot Wheels cars too. So we would build our own homes and,
houses,
fence lines and garages and stuff. And then we used marbles to make the roads.
Okay.
Like we would take, several hours.
Creativity.
We didn't have a television until we were 14 years old. So, you just kind of had to create, make your imagination. So we would build like a whole street scene with different houses and stuff like that, and then have our cars parked there.
I didn't quite go that far. Like, I would say
this guy needs to protect his dome.
I was semi-sheltered in the fact that we only had like Saturday cartoons.
Whoa.
And then
look at that dude right there.
Yeah, he's got his radio. We call that the phone. Turn him around. Yeah, you got your phone. That's how you bell the crane.
Where's the? Oh, it's right there.
Yeah, that's how you bell the crane. So belling the crane is what I do. Iron workers don't run the crane.
Okay.
But you know what? There's a saying that is, this is your brain. This is how we talk to dumbass operators. This is your fucking brain. You do what I tell you. This hand tells you what to do. If this hand doesn't say anything, then you don't fucking do anything.
Right.
Because a lot of operators
don't think for yourself.
No.
Right.
No, your
Please
job
don't.
is
You'll hurt somebody.
I think for you.
Yep.
And some of them, you get comfortable on a job, and then especially in like a forklift operation,
Sure.
You just start moving, and you can see like I can do that. I'm the guy with the brain, so I can run it. I don't need a signalman. But if you start doing that, I don't know you. We don't have that rapport.
Right.
And even if we do, and I say something you didn't see, like we even use our own spotters, but I can also run it by myself, and so could they. There's all the respect to them. But that is the way of the pecking order. The iron worker is certified, rigger, signalman, all of the above. and we do rigorous training. Operators learn how to run the equipment.
Awesome.
So there's
And you got to know where they are, right? Because they don't know what you know. They're not
Yeah.
seeing the field the way you see it.
And
right?
on this kind of crane here, there's no jib. A jib would be an extension of the crane.
Sure.
Now this is called a juice rig, we call it, because it's got a boom, but that is retractable or extendable.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's lattice cranes. Lattice cranes are erected by a juice rig, so you need a crane to build the bigger crane.
Oh, damn.
And then and then those cranes are totally different.
I'm
in
just
the way-
moving ahead.
Yes,
while you're,
this is exactly what I was
right.
saying. One guy starts
like,
talking, you better
yeah,
start
I didn't know.
moving.
I didn't know. It's my first time on the show, so I'm just
doing
like,
good.
I'm a rock and roll here, man.
Yep. And you have definitely got the ability to multitask and do that. So
I've got the power, dude.
Yeah.
I've got the power.
But yeah, so there's a lot. This is a cool set because it kind of gives me the ability to express to you as well.
Sure.
It's cool because not a lot of people get to see the background of the job. So
Yeah, I always thought it's fascinating how, and in my profession where we build temporary environments, and there's, I always like to say there's 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag a lot of times, right?
Yep.
And it's amazing that if you're not coordinated, then what's going to happen is you're going to end up getting hurt. What's going to happen is you're wrong thing, wrong time, and you got to be careful. Because you don't know if, like if the truss is coming in or, there's a wagon full of stage decks, coming out, that's 12 feet tall, 150 pound a deck of steel, coming at you. And you're just trying to wander through the ballroom like, no, you can't be doing that. That's crazy.
And I was overheard your conference call a little bit, and you were really hitting some things that I would be having, like you were talking about weights, this, that, the trusses. What are we going to do for the hangers? I was like, oh, that sounds. These are some different but familiar mindset on. Like, so when you go to a building, do you have to look at the schematic? Do you have to have an engineer that built that, or is there like you need to know what those trusses can?
Correct.
Hold?
So
like you have to know the weight, the capacity of the building.
Exactly right. So we get actual dimensional CADs that we can bring into Vectorworks or something, so we can actually pull the whole thing apart and understand all the layers that's in that building that we're going to affect. And then when it comes to the ceiling and load points, then each one of those are outlined how much weight can be held by each point.
Anchor points, yeah.
And then when we're done with our rig, as we call it, right, with all of the stuff on it, then we have to send that back to a certified rigger who then calculates all of that. But what's interesting is the difference between a dynamic load and a static load, right?
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah, right. So it's like that says it's 750 pounds, and I've got a 250 pound light on it. But if that light's static, then you could put 3 of them. But if it moves, you got to do it X factor 4. So now it's a 1,000-pound light.
Yes.
Right? Because of the torque.
And then how many pulleys do you have? Because then you have exponential. You have to start friction. Friction starts to become a play. And is that light going to be moving up and down these pulleys? And every pulley you add, and that also goes into this crane. They're called shivs.
Yeah.
And not the prison kind. And
good to know. That's solid note there.
It's spelled sheaves, but it's called a shiv.
Okay.
And a lot goes into that. And what size shiv, your shiv's too big, you will, for the cable, you get a flat spot in the shiv, and now you have compromised the integrity. You have a shiv that is too small. Now you bind your cable, and your cable deforms into more like a oval instead of the round that it needs to be. And
all right, that's phase 1, step 1.
That was pretty quick.
Yeah, we've got now phase 2. You'll be building out that.
So we totally took a sidebar, but I wanted to get more into so you guys were building Legos, and so many people have told me what you said. Legos, yes, but they were so different, and they've come so far. When I was a kid, we would do, and I've spoke on this a couple times, but it's worth repeating. So when the power would go out, California used to get weather.
Sure.
It used to. And we would have the power go out at least once or twice a year, and I had a bucket of Legos, just a big Rubbermaid bin.
Right.
And we would dump it out, and I'd have my stepdad, John.
Yeah.
And he would be there. That's my dad. I'd have him there. My uncle Reggie, and then I think one more guy. And it was interesting because they all had different sets. And so, like Reggie built tanks. My dad, and it didn't matter what color, they tried to keep the same theme, but they I kept building tanks, and my dad liked trucks, and he's a mechanic, so he built trucks.
Right.
And then the other guy would everyone had their thing. You could tell, that's what they did in their childhood.
Man. You knew it, right?
Yep. Okay, when they were kids, they built Lego tanks and Lego trucks and Lego, he built cars, and he liked to build little buildings, and they all had the thing that they worked on. And that, it goes to your point that you had to come up with it on your own. So that was the thing they liked as a kid, and you could see they loved army tanks, or he loved building trucks. And
right.
Yeah, it was really neat.
I do remember the
yours
treads.
Was very dynamic with, but you had your brother to help with that.
Yeah.
So you and your brother were combined your creativities, and now you're building entire little sub-city and type.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
Well, that was a way for us to absolutely use our imaginations to another level of trying to create community and stuff. And of course, my brother being the capitalist that he is, he'd always make a store that he'd make me have to shop at or something. Always made money.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, he's making money off you.
What? Dude, bro, I'm your little bro, man. You're already beating me up all the time. Now I get to take my money too. It's all good.
And he was like, no, not fake dollars.
No, actual real dollars.
Yeah.
Go to
at
piggy
this Lego store.
Yeah,
we're gonna spend. This is 2 pennies.
Hook it up. Exactly right.
This figure is gonna cost you.
Exactly right.
That's hilarious.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What do you think we're building here?
Right now, the outriggers. So these are the outriggers.
So this is the stabilizer. So once the thing goes up, you don't want it to tip over the truck.
Yeah, and then so there's different capacities. It's such a cool set that I can actually educate the world on what it is that the crane actually does. Because when you see it, you're like, okay. So there's these outriggers, and they actually would be hydraulic. And there's the phrase is called on rubbers or off rubbers.
Gotcha.
And so this crane is only going to be on rubbers just because it's a Lego set. But if you're on rubber, you change the static or dynamic load. You change the rated capacity of the rig because you're on pneumatic tires. So your swing range, your swing radius changes. You can't really go over the side. You can only go over the front or over the back. And then you would have to boom in to even make that swing. There's zones that you can't even go in, or the whole rig will tip.
Right.
Even though it's on, you could even float. So there's the only time you're at full chart is off the rubber. So you would have these outriggers would come out, and then they would boom up to where every tire has to be off the rubber. Even if you're on uneven ground, you have to make sure every tire is off the ground.
Right.
And then you're at rated capacity, and you can use the chart to tell you how much you can pick. But without that, it's really important. The outriggers are very important. What else we got going on? So we're going to need a red.
A little red action.
Now,
looks like you need a little signal light here somehow. Bam.
Yep. And then
and a little white domey thing.
When you see
technical terms for
white
domey thing.
When I do these reviews, I'll watch people do reviews, and they have they're in the know and all the I'm like the two by slant brick, and I try, and it just comes out as jumble, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna this one.
That one, the white domey thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm all about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it up as I go.
Sure.
The one with the clip, the vertical clip.
Right.
So what is
looks
it?
Good.
Oh shit! You're already ahead of the game.
I got you, brother.
Yeah, I like that. So,
boom.
Growing up, you did a lot of traveling, yeah? Well, I wouldn't say traveling, but I'd say moving around, yeah?
Yeah, we did a lot of moving around, yeah.
So,
a lot of moving around.
So,
Mom was kind of like your grandmother, who she was like, why remodel when you can just move entirely? And since she had 2 boys that were essentially just free labor, let's just do that. Let's just do that thing.
Yep, I definitely understand the free labor part.
I want to say we moved, I don't know, 13 times, 11 times, 13 times before I was 18 years old.
Wow.
There's a lot of moving, bro.
Almost every year.
Pretty much. Yeah. For good. Went to 2 high schools, 2 junior high schools, 3 elementary schools, just a little bit.
And were they within the vicinity where you could maintain the same friendships, or was it too far?
No. Well, and then, the thing is most of them were into different school district, or, you were still in the same area.
So you could drive to but you lose
it's
that.
It's just different. I mean, back then it was, you rode your bike, you got out of there. There was no internet connectivity,
phones,
texts, like, hey, let's come over, play dates. It's like you had your posse in your neighborhood. That's who you blew up with, and that's what happened, right? Like, so you would all get out there, and, this is back in the day when, dodgeball wasn't politically incorrect. You typically would run down the street, find somebody to throw the ball at, and hard, like at their head.
You better be.
Like
if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Exactly, bro. It's hardcore stuff, right? Like, it was like legitimately, we would walk around and just try to figure out the most destructive thing we could do to each other, and still all within friendship,
Yeah.
But like, and growing up in Cali, a lot of it revolved around either skateboard or bicycle, and then, jumping jumps and building jumps and all that kind of stuff.
Nothing like a cinder block plywood jump that fell out the first attempt.
Brilliant. There are cracks in the middle. Just blah.
Yeah.
Like, back to the drawing board.
We got to do that again. So we got to do another one.
We got to build a whole one? All right. Let's do it.
I'll be your wingman on this. So we're going to have to go back a couple pages.
This guy.
But
do we? I mean, I think I got it. I remember.
See, you got that memory.
I got that memory.
Years of experience.
Bam.
I stayed in the same area, but we did a lot of traveling, so it was different, and I got to maintain the same friendships. But I always like growing up. We did rodeo circuits and stuff, and my parents, they took us to all different kinds of areas. I think that even goes right there. They took us to all different. They took us to all different.
I want to make sure I did that.
All over California, all over Nevada. I had family everywhere. I have a very large family on my mother's side.
Right.
Same on our side, but on my mother's side, they were dispersed through all the western states: Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, California, and all up and down California. And so I had the taste for travel, and I wanted to do something that, and then experienced 2008.
Oh, boy.
So I watched my small community experience all these construction companies just go under because they're all residential. We don't have any industry.
Sure.
We just have residential construction,
Right,
which was a boom. And then all of a sudden, these houses are vacant, half built.
That's brutal.
Getting flooded. Companies are going under. People that lived in nice houses they're gone.
Sure.
Their company, and you see that destroy a family. And so I was very cerebral with my picking of the job. I was like, well, for one, I have a passion for welding.
For sure.
But it helped to...
And a gift.
Yes.
Well, isn't that wonderful that she's on the podcast with us?
Yeah, I love it when she drops in, gives a little cameo.
A little Felicity just right there.
Yep.
She's like, you looking for me? How's my stardom?
What was it like getting to see your granddaughter? Having a granddaughter?
Well, yeah, great question. Having a granddaughter is amazing. I love that. And I don't know what I'm doing here. Hold on a second. I think.
You got a little snack on your chest. Yep, that was for later. Dad does that with his beard. He'll save that one for his beard.
And look at this beautiful Precious.
There you go.
And you and Alexa just have this beautiful, beautiful child, and just incredible. She has the most amazing disposition.
Yes, she
does. She sure does.
She's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I always, at 10 years old, I knew I wanted to be a father. What are you doing? Don't touch it.
Why is
Thank
it the
you, though.
battery looks like
It's
almost
charging,
dead?
so it.
Okay.
But it,
Okay. I didn't
yeah,
want your thing to die while you're
yeah,
recording.
you're fine. Putting your hand in front of the screen though,
That was
yeah,
an accident.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, family first.
Am I out of the screen now? Is this too close?
Yeah, a little closer.
Folks, is this too close?
Yeah. They want to see our nose hairs. Yeah.
Ew. I think I should have done something about that earlier.
What's up, baby? You
Sorry.
trying to get on the mic?
Brick fever, folks.
Talk to him. Talk to him.
We've got the fever.
Oh, whoa.
I mean, whoa, right?
Whoa.
This
Yeah,
is
there
so
you go.
cute. Just adorable.
I can't wait till she can be on and start talking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Daddy, what is this? What is that? Unlike your generation and many after and before, like I can answer those questions.
Thank you.
I don't have to get
Thank
the
you for the help.
full
Thank you.
encyclopedia. I got Google. I don't know, babe. Here, talk into the microphone and ask Google your question.
Right. Absolutely. No, we had to actually. So we have an expression among my friends, the older sector groups. And maybe this is an adoption that people will take on. But NGN. Okay. So you ask a question. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know the answer, you call NGN, right? Like no Google necessary, no Google needed. So you have
NGN.
like a week to ask all your friends or ask
Okay.
people you run into
And actually-
to try to find the answer. Like you can't go to Google.
I like that.
Right? Like
I like
so
that.
now I go to the restaurant or I go to a dinner party, I'm going out hanging out with friends. I'll be like, hey, do you know like who the actor of blah 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 is? And they're like, no, and they go for their phone. I go, no,
NGN.
no, and Jen, you can't do it. You can't. Please don't do that. Like now, when you leave here, because you're not under an NGN, you want to look it up, go ahead. But while we're here, you can't spoil it for me, right? Like, so it gives you just something to talk about and
I like
some interesting
that,
stuff.
especially at like a dinner or
Yeah.
something. That way, it also keeps the phones out of the. It keeps it. What do you call that? Genuine.
Yeah.
Keeps the conversations genuine. Keeps your knowledge base genuine.
It also, one of the
and
things is
it can become a game.
it does,
Yeah.
and you got to work. One of the things I think that we're going to experience as a society is we're going to run out of capacity to hold it, right? Because if it's always available at the ready, then why do you have to hold it up here?
Yeah, this
Right.
is something that Joe Rogan speaks on a daily basis.
Oh,
He goes,
really?
I have, because he's almost putting podcasts out daily. But
Sure.
he goes,
Because
There's
he's
only-
a baller.
yeah. And he goes, there's only so much capacity for information. So his plethora of knowledge on fighting, but he's like, if it doesn't interest me, I don't have the ability to retain it.
Sure.
And I have hundreds of hours a month of empty time under the hood, just with me and my thoughts. So what I do is at least 6 out of the 10 hours a day I'm at work, I'm filling that time with knowledge, with
Right.
books. Audio books is the best thing that could ever happen, or podcast, or just music. Mix it up. Like we're a little low on that. Like you gotta
Feels
go.
like it, right?
We missed
Like I missed a step here.
yeah.
Right. Let me
you
go
did.
back. I got bam, bam, bam. I
That's
put that.
right.
Oh, you know what?
You did that.
I put that. And then I went.
Did something happen at the base? No?
No.
To blue? Let me look at this side.
Oh, no. I got to put this down first.
See.
Then you put those on.
Okay.
Bam.
Copy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a little space. But, so I've got all this knowledge, right? Read these books. I have these, I can
Yeah.
put my own ideas, but I can never tell you the name of the book. Sometimes, or I could tell you the name of the book, but it might be the wrong idea. I'm just
Sure.
mixing. It's a big mixing pot of ideas,
Right.
and they're all like, when I'm telling you the ideas.
To go there?
We missed some plates. More plates, more dates. That's a good guy, too.
Oh,
Watch.
boom.
And
Boom.
only 2 on this one. Oh, I totally messed up.
Yeah.
I put 4.
Why'd you do that, man?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Just felt right. You get intuition,
Right.
because there was plates to be placed.
Sure.
But yeah, it's already happening. I I run out of space. I don't know. I can tell you all these ideas.
The files
and
are full, bro.
Yep.
You know, I go
I'm not even 30.
So imagine it. But that's what I'm saying. Also, is if you know the brain is a tool, right? Like, and so I don't know anything. I'm not a neuroscientist or anything, but I'm always intrigued about exercising the brain to hold on to memories, to expand thought process, to seek out new information. And I find myself recently as a generational, you know, as a person who's been in both sides of the generation, that if I don't actively seek to do that, like if I don't actively read real books, if I, you know, versus audiobooks, or I don't actively, or I don't read on my iPad, or I don't do the NGN, I lose it.
Yeah,
right?
I like
It's
the
temporary.
NGN concept.
You know,
I'm
it's
really
like I got
into
to
that.
keep that in there.
Now, when you do the NGN, how do you just, so you're just asking fellow people?
Yeah.
Or do you try and find it in a book, or you just ask, because you can't.
I try to
right?
use it as conversation, or
Right.
if I'm around, you know, because if I touch the computer,
Yeah.
then I'm cheating, right?
Yes.
So now, if I have a reference book of something and I don't have any
Right.
encyclopedias anymore, so I'm kind of
Exactly.
just stuck with people, right?
Yep.
So, you know, later on, we might go to Hangry Bison tonight. You're sitting there, the waiter or the bartender or whatever, and you're like, hey, what's this? You know, it's so similarly, like for me, different for me and Dana is I know music, I know songs, okay, I know artists. I don't know members of the band.
Same.
Like I could tell you that was Asia, that was, you know, Paul McCartney, that was this. Well, Paul McCartney's just an artist, but sorry, that was terrible. But I, you know, like I don't know who the lead singer of XYZ band was, or who the drummer, more importantly, or the guitarist, you know, unless they were like super epic.
Right.
You know, like I don't know.
Yep.
You know.
And those, you know, after, it's really the legendary rock and roll bands. Mm-hmm. And that, you know, for me, it's rappers.
Yeah.
I'm really into hip hop, and
We got extra pieces. Is that it? Is that
I
normal?
think we have extra, and we're also missing one.
What are we missing?
We're missing this orange piece, and oh no, we're not. It's
Boom.
hiding.
It's off
hide and
camera.
seek.
Now it's on camera.
Yep. Okay, so that goes there, and then there's got to be a sticker pack. Now, fuck. So check in that box there.
In this box here?
Yeah, for a sticker pack.
Oh,
There it is.
boom.
Okay, so it's happened to me twice with Speed Champion sets, which are little car sets, and it was only in the ones that had a dual. So some of the Speed Champion sets come with two sets.
Where does it tell you to put the stickers?
Right here. So on this
Gotcha.
piece, and then in that corner, it'll tell you the piece number for
Okay.
the sticker.
Number 3, ladies
Yep.
and gentlemen. Number 3.
And there's actually a technique to this.
Am I going to get
Let
a
me show
tweezers?
you. Yeah. So I was gonna. There's a tool, but you can, if you don't have the tool, you can do it this way.
Oh,
So you
look at
use
you.
another piece to help, because we got these big bulky
Some
fingers,
ninja shit right
Yep.
there, boy.
and then you just gonna place it with your calibrated
To the camera,
eye.
please. Look at that. He's
Calibrated
so
eye.
selfish. He's not showing you at all.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that.
I'm semi-blind, so I got to do it really close. Yeah, welding's not
brilliant.
not kind to your. Yeah.
It's so true.
Podcast. She's gonna love it one day. She'll be all over it.
Totally.
I can't wait to start. Alexa, she doesn't want her to grow up, and I get it.
Every age is a great age. You never want them to grow up.
But I can't wait till I can like have my best friend like talking to her all the time. You
Yeah,
know, like,
yeah.
I can't wait till like we're just hanging out and
Yeah.
chit chatting and
Yeah.
asking all those questions, and we're gonna NGN the shit out of it.
All right, so I have a sticker pack, but we're done. Now we're on to pack 2, it looks like.
Yeah. So we got the base of the crane. So that's the base. We got the outriggers. We could even put the outriggers down. So now we're
On rubber.
off rubber because
Off
we have
rubber.
no rubber.
Rubber is the tire.
Yes. And yeah, thanks.
See,
so if you're on
It's
pneumatic,
not all pretty. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a brain in there somewhere, brother.
So if it's pneumatic, right? You
Sure.
know, it's got flexion. It's got, you know, it moves.
Right.
You don't want that. You
No.
want stability when you're handling tonnage.
Tonnage.
You know. So
Word.
this is gonna be. What the fuck? We do have extra pieces though.
Yeah, well, maybe they're just.
No, we missed. Boom, right there. So we're building the rear end. We fucking we missed some spots.
Oh, sorry. I got to talking and then boom. I got this. I get this here.
What happened?
You put that on.
Yeah, but
And then you put those on.
No. I'm getting ahead of myself. This whole thing, yeah. Way got ahead of myself. All right, this happens. This is the beauty of the podcast. You can't have success without failure.
Okay.
So it goes under. I put it on, assuming.
Oh, yeah.
So you get for assuming things, and
Yeah.
then yours will go there.
Bam.
Yeah.
All right.
And then so you got this is a multi-gendered piece. You know the fun fact about Legos?
Whoa.
Oh, sorry. Fun fact about Legos.
Uh-huh.
All 90 years ago. This year is the 90th anniversary. 90 years ago,
Wow.
they flip it. There you go. They picked yellow to be inclusive. So they
Okay.
didn't want to pick any. Now they have all different racial. They have black, they have brown, they have white. They have all these different.
You're talking about the actual
the heads,
color
the
of the
figurines.
Gotcha.
Yep. And but originally, with the concept of the creator of Lego, he picked yellow so that it could be inclusive to all people. He wanted it to be accepting of everybody, so that these toys did not exclude any race or gender or anything. And I do think it was pretty much non-binary in gender, just figures. They're just figures. And now they've expanded, obviously, into the largest toy company in the world. But like now we're gonna build our female, and she's got the phone.
She's got the phone.
She's more of the iron worker.
Sure.
Yep.
Brilliant.
If there was ever an iron worker, that would be her. And she's got her safety glasses on. Safety is a culture. It's not. Yeah, and if you watch a lot of non-union, like it's really awesome to watch on on TikTok or Reels. You see people doing some of the craziest shit, and then the running joke is safety's third.
Right.
Safety third.
Safety third. No, safety first.
Safety first, always.
Always.
When I get in the car, I say, 100% tie off. Put your seatbelt on.
Right. Don't screw up. Thank you. And so what happens is you want to talk about the people that are engaged in not only the spirits, but how they get into it.
Yeah.
What are some great stories that you found while you were out having a drink with somebody that you randomly met, and stuff like that. So it's a great cast. We're about 22 episodes in.
Oh, nice.
But we've got, again, it's always a struggle trying to get them. And we shoot it live at the store. So
that's a cool dynamic.
Yeah, it's cool. But I'm trying to do a thing now where maybe, and I love your mobile setup where I can go on the road. And thank you for bringing me along, son. We both started these things kind of around at the same time.
So
roughly close to the same time.
Very, very much inspired each other.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, you bring that up.
I love that.
We talked, we've been talking about doing podcasts, not together, but just, brainstorming this for years, right?
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh, we got to do it. We're going to do it. We each love talking.
Yeah.
And so...
these guys.
And we're passionate about things that, and then most importantly, want to hear people's stories.
Yeah, that's really the thing.
Mine is the Lego Chronicles. What's a chronicle? It's a story.
Yeah.
We build Legos and tell stories.
Yeah.
And that's the whole purpose of this. And in my field, and now it's more so.
That's a cool looking piece, though, whatever's going on there.
They actually use that as an engine in some sets. I don't know if that's what it will be here, but they do that. It's pretty cool. I realized in my field, I got a lot of friends, quote unquote, but I've worked with hundreds of people across the nation. I've ran into people I work with in Florida and in Portland, and just this week, I'm in Orlando here, and a buddy of mine is boomed out is a term we use for when we travel to other locals. And he was coming in. I haven't seen him in 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
He's traveled. He just got to Miami, and I'm here, and now I'm going back. And we just missed each other again.
Oh.
But
yeah.
That's how. So he's going to work with another 50 to 100 iron workers out here. And so you really have I have a problem with names. You talked about the capacity for people and your memory. Your brain only holds so much. So I wanted to get, and another inspiration for the same logic was my daughter. Started like, I wanted to get people like you. I wanted to get my grandmother, my parents, family members. So when they are dead and gone,
Sure.
especially my grandma's 70, and to get Grandma Carol, they're a little more timid with the technology. They don't understand. And when you tell them how big the global reach is, and I told my grandma, "Oh, your podcast has been seen in 22 countries." She's like, "Whoa!" And
That's so cool.
Felicity will be able, if they're not around. I had so many grandparents growing up that by the time I was old enough to comprehend and have a real conversation, they were dead and gone.
Yeah.
And so she'll be able to go back. We have this ability to put that etched in stone. For centuries, it was storytelling is how you remembered history. There was no ability to write it down in hunter-gatherer societies and things.
Right.
And so now we have that, and I didn't want to miss that opportunity. And so, so that was one of the ideas. And then I realized I have these people I call friends, but I don't even know where they're from. And so I was like, fuck, I really should. I want to get them on. I want to get these people that I call friends and that I really like. It's. I hate to compare it to the military because it's not anywhere close to the level of adrenaline, the level of the stakes they're high, but they're not that high,
Right,
and
right.
There's not,
and you don't want to discredit anybody from that. Yeah, I understand.
But there's that level of camaraderie.
Yeah,
and I just felt like you only have shop talk when you're in the lunch shack. So you get 30 minutes and you're just there to shoot the shit. You're trying to forget about the fact that you're going to go work in the hail and the rain and the snow or the heat. And much like those guys, in the field are probably just bullshitting, but they stay together. We go home to our families.
Right.
So we don't get to connect on a personal level. And so that was also a big inspiration to start. And just to give more credit to the...
Do you find like this is a great universal topic, using the bricks?
Yeah, so to like everyone's touched or heard of Legos, whether they touched them or not. They know what a Lego is.
Sure.
It's the largest toy company in the world. And people like my grandma, oh, I don't know, but it's an icebreaker. Like, Grandma, look, we're just going to do this thing. You're going to have your hands busy.
Sure.
And it kind of disconnects you from the camera. And no one does.
There's a camera here?
Oh, yeah, right here. We're actually on camera. I know. It's weird, right? You have a headset on.
What?
Yeah.
That seems weird.
So weird. And so it was and I was like trying to think about, because I already had the channel, and like, what is a way that I can stand out? Because there's over 5 million podcasts and new ones being developed every day. And and essentially it's just a communal talk shit podcast where we just shoot the shit. People ask, well, what are we going to talk about? I don't know.
We're going to see it come up. That's the same way I do it, right?
First thing we're going to talk about is you and who you are. And then we're going to describe what we're going to build. And after that, we're going to go from there. And it could take a wild twist. You could tell some crazy stories.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you know that Step 54 has taken some extra art direction to the industry. And apparently this is a huzzah moment. Whenever you join two pieces together, you get these array on the graphics page. Like, I feel emotional now that's there.
They should have sound effects. Yeah, I like that.
Right?
I need I got sound effect buttons. I need to program one of those.
Hit one. Hit one.
How about that one? No.
Wow. Oh, no, do it again.
Wow. That's perfect. Dude, we just connected the pieces.
That's so good.
Oh, that was cool.
That was outrageous. Okay.
What's this one?
You're never getting your time back, people. Sorry.
Oh, that was great.
There we go.
A little more. Put a little more pressure on that bottom piece.
Pressure.
There. Yeah.
There you go. You want to inspect that, sir?
Oh, yeah. QC.
Yeah.
Quality control. Got to make sure you get the CWI stamp on that. Fucking beautiful.
Beautiful.
Work of art. Now, I do have a big respect for people that design them, because there's a whole
the master people.
Yeah. I'm very much a builder.
Sure.
And I learned, I've realized that in my field and also like in this, like you give me prints, I'll build anything you want and it'll be perfect. It might even be better than you envisioned.
Sure.
But if you don't have an idea, I can't come up with one.
Right.
Yeah. I could steal one. I could
Sure.
steal an idea off the internet and be like, that's a cool concept, and then make it out of some different materials.
Right.
But you are an originator of ideas.
A white paper does not scare me.
Yeah.
And that's something over the years when, finding quote creatives and people who are in this field that aren't afraid of a blank piece of paper is a big deal, right? Because it's terrifying for a great many people.
Mm-hmm.
They won't know what to do.
I think I'm missing a piece. Continue. I'll find this piece.
It's right here.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Shazam.
What?
So blank paper, right? Like,
Yeah.
so it's like you sit down and you go, okay, so how do you even start with a blank piece of paper?
It's just like starting an essay in high school. You're like,
Well, it is, So, and then there's a difference. I'm going to be real candid and opinionated about this. There is a strong difference. Your sister Harmony is a fine artist. Okay.
Yes.
So this person can take blank paper and maybe has an idea in their mind, but is motivated by the stroke as it comes to life. Right?
Yes.
And understands depths and textures and how to bring different things together.
inspiration comes through the practice.
Correct. Whereas I am a commercial artist. So all the inspiration that I have has got to start through a conversation. So I have to please somebody or something. I have to have a context around what it is and why and what the purpose is. Whereas a fine artist is just maybe just making it.
Yeah.
And the purpose will be found once it's done.
Yeah.
Or if it's ever done.
Well,
right?
and
It's just a matter of doing that.
Yeah.
I've always got to, if I have a blank piece of paper, I've got to start with, okay, what is the purpose? Why am
seed.
I here? There's got to be a seed, right? And that seed can be anything. And from that can germinate a whole garden. But yeah.
I you know what? Maybe I used the wrong term. We're going to start with these two
Who's
right
that
here.
guy?
I already put them in.
Oh, perfect.
We're going to need those guys and these two guys right here.
Word.
I used the wrong terms. I will retract my previous statement by saying steal an idea because it wasn't that I meant, but
Share
it's what
shift.
you expressed. Where like my favorite projects and my favorite jobs I ever did were when I was non-union because I would come in with an idea. Someone would come, hey, I have this concept. It seems so unrealistic, but I want to make it a reality.
Right.
And I'm like, well, let's talk about it. Okay, you don't have any time frame, or the best projects were blank check projects.
Sure.
And like, okay, I can't tell you how long it's going to take. I have no idea. This thing is not real.
Right.
But I will make it real. And I might have to make a lot of adjustments and tweaks. And I did a thing for Disney where I did 7 prototypes before I even came to the real, and I threw them away in hundreds of hours. Took
Is that
months.
railings, right?
Yeah, the
insane.
handrail I turned into a tree.
Yeah.
And then, okay, well, cool, you did it here, but we need to change the schedule of the pipe. I'm like, okay. You don't understand what that means, but okay, that changes everything. So now I'm starting from scratch again. And they're like, you had proof of concept, but do this. And don't get frustrated. And I like the challenge.
Sure.
And so, but I have to have a conversation with somebody that has an idea. So I can better your idea. I can, I said, I can make it better than you even thought was possible.
Absolutely.
But you had the idea, and we talked about it, and we brainstormed that.
That's the best. And that's why I love working with talent and artists is,
Right.
It's, and I've always found, I don't know if it's the same way, if you feel the same way, is that if you've been micromanaged through those processes and then you've been left to your own devices, which do you prefer?
Left alone, and they come out better.
Yeah.
And I had this one company. That one was also a left alone. And you know what? Just to put, that's a very interesting question you asked. I wanted to be micromanaged. Mm-hmm. I didn't. That project particularly, I want that one. They gave me a big full size sheet of paper, and as a blueprint. And so I had a concept, but I had no instructions. And as a welder, as a iron worker, you're expecting like dimensions, size of steel,
Sure.
size of pipe, and they're like, just you got a tape measure, right?
Right.
I was like, okay. But then there's these pieces that have curves and bends, and I don't know how to straighten that out and tell them I need 6 feet. That's really only 4 feet long. So I fucked it up a lot. I was like, well, I was about 6 inches too short. So restart. And but they left me alone. But I wish I would have had a little more direction on that because the stakes were so high. You're talking about $1 billion company.
Right.
So at that point, but then I worked on this before I worked for this company that they did. It was called Montana Ironworks, and all we did was build mansions.
Oh,
and do all the handrails and stuff
Gorgeous.
for mansions. And I did this my favorite project, and it was so simple, and it doesn't look cool at all. It's just a nosing for a white pine 6-story white pine spiral staircase.
Wow.
And he wanted it to look antique, and so the guy that sold the concept, he's like, I have this idea. And he took a punch, he punched in the steel, and he was like, can you make that? And then I had to mass produce that. So I had to create my own jig. So he just says, I need you to take this one hole I have, and I need you to make 6 of them on a piece of steel, keep it straight, and then mass produce it for 60 stairs.
Wow.
And I was like, have as much time. And he left me alone. And that was my project.
Sure.
The whole time I worked there, I did that and one other project. And so that was that. I enjoyed being left alone because I had the idea and I knew I wasn't scared of losing a position or scared that the company no one was coming to check the concept.
Right.
It was just, I trust that you can do that.
Right.
And they left me to it. And then there was I asked him one time, like, I've got a lot of time in this. And he was like, it doesn't matter. And once I heard that, it was like,
boom.
Okay.
Boom.
Leave me alone. I'll figure it out. I'll build jigs. I had to rebuild the jig because the heat of the press, forging the iron and putting it back, and then you deform your jig. So then I had to rebuild it.
Right.
And I messed up a couple pieces because then I go to put them in and then it fit. And I was like, I deformed the steel. The jig got deformed through all the heat.
Yep.
So I had to reset.
So you're building with the wrong template.
Yep. The template deformed. So the template,
of course.
And,
everything. You got to check it. And I I'm going to get us to check here, but that's the same thing with your brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the template gets deformed, right? Like you start putting enough stuff into it, and wearing it through, and everything gets grooves, right?
Yeah.
And they say you're in a rut, right? Like it's just similarly, right? Yeah. You gotta refresh. You gotta go back. You gotta check. You gotta talk to people. You gotta kind of, I don't want to say validation is probably the wrong term because I think that I don't need to be validated necessarily, right? Like I don't want people to walk around in their lives going, I hope you validate me and my existence, but there is a certain amount of, if maybe you could say is, bullshit test, right? Like, am I in my own bullshit or, is this actually working out? You need people.
And it, it is validation, but it's from people that you're not going to ask for it. It's going to it's either from a peer or someone that you respect. Yeah. That comes from above, like someone that isn't involved in the project. Sure. That's nice. You need to hear that because you're building the project.
Yeah, of course.
But also like, just to hear it, like when I journeyed out, I had a guy, the business manager, the big boss, and I was doing some volunteer work for the union at one of our picnics, and he just come up to me, and I've only spoke to him a few times, but it's a small industry, and especially in our local, it's really even smaller, and he just comes up to me, and he had been following my career, and I didn't even know.
Nice.
And he just come up to me and said, I was like months from journeying out. He's like, I want to tell you I'm proud of you and you come a long ways. And I can't wait to I'm excited that you're going to be in our local.
Nice.
And I didn't look for that. I didn't ask for it. I did not expect that.
Right.
But it meant a lot. That was the validation that I didn't know. And that's maybe the point of my story on this is that you don't know you need it until you hear it.
Sure.
That's what I like the best. The validation I didn't know I needed.
Yeah, that's solid. Yeah, I shouldn't just walk around looking for it. Those people are a little desperate.
If you do, you feel
They're a little desperate. It's like, just use your own internal guide. Am I doing the right thing for people? Am I giving
trust
more
the
than
process?
Yeah, trust the process. You know, are you giving more than you're taking? You know, that's another key.
And as long as you're putting it back, like put that energy, like pass that down. Because you, like, I want to really be a welding instructor for the union.
Sure.
Because I have a level of knowledge in welding that you cannot obtain through the union.
Ooh, mirrors.
And
Nice.
that is just something that is understood and acknowledged through, you know, people have, you know, it's been affirmed. And because of that, I want to pass that down. What is knowledge worth, you know, if you're not sharing it?
Totally.
And that it goes to a famine, feast or famine. Why do we have to have famine? Everybody should feast. What is the saying? High tide rises all ships, or something like that.
That is right.
And so,
Close enough.
yeah, right.
Right.
You know, butched it a little bit, but it is what it is. Concept's the same.
Yes, sir.
And you know, also, I just can't
More
give.
extras.
I really don't like to mention this guy a lot because everybody already knows it. But that's another concept that was really solidified by Joe Rogan, and through his pushing of like comedy, especially with the sitcoms, it was very famine. Like, I need that sitcom. I can't let you get that. And so watching that and watching him share his success with everybody.
Sorry to interrupt, but Magic Oven, we did these off camera during the break. There was a, you just put the little rim inside the tire. So that's the next step here.
Yeah.
Just want to let you know we didn't pre-package. We did this off camera.
Yeah, that was during that 10 minutes that the camera glitched out.
Yep. And because I can't stop moving my fingers at the same time.
Yep. And so that was you know, I learned a lot from that. And I learned a lot, not just from this guy, but I listened my whole life. It was during,
Nice.
okay, so see, this is technically, should be off rubber, but it is not. So, you know how we can make this off rubber? We just pull these down a little bit and just extend these just because I'm a nerd and I want to do it.
Yeah. Yep.
But someone told me this. So I wanted a rope. And I went to, there's this guy, and every week they would do ropings. And I grew up in a cowboy in the country, raised animals and bulls and rodeo lifestyle through and through. Cowboy at heart. And now we're off
Nice.
rubber. You see that? That
Yes.
is a full capacity crane.
Let's
And,
go bag number 3, baby.
final. And so this a wise man come up to me and he said, because someone sees you doing something, and I would do it right by the gate, and everybody has an opinion. And he goes, look, everybody's going to give you information. Don't shun them. Then they'll stop giving you. They'll stop. You act arrogant or ignorant. You act arrogant. They're not going to share.
Right.
And you really are ignorant to the fact of what they're like. You don't know anything.
Right.
So you just have to keep that. And he said, but some of them might not have the right information. So try it when they're telling you, and then take that and do what you may with it.
Right.
And you may take the wrong info and fail, and then, okay, well, that was wrong, and then learn and do better. Or you might, so I did that with life. And I don't know where I was going with that, but I took...
Well, the right information, you know, I think from what you were saying is input matters, right?
Yes.
There's this rule of discretion that says, you know, let's take the input and then let's decide whether we need to use it and how it applies.
Yeah, and be grateful for all input.
All input.
Anybody that's and because of the welding, I want to pass that knowledge. Knowledge
Yes.
is wasted if you don't share it. And
I think it wants us to build that off of the thing.
I got you. Getting
And then I bet you when we get to the place where we put that on there, it's
it'll
gonna
have
be-
zing. We'll hit the button and we'll talk about it. And
Yeah, boy.
yeah.
There you go.
We'll put this to the side so they can see what we're doing here.
All right, there you go. There you go.
And then, so that knowledge needs to be shared in your industry. So you have these concepts, right?
Right.
And people might not even understand what the fuck you're trying to say.
Most of the time.
So how do you, and you have this experience, so you have the knowledge knowing that even though you don't get it, I promise you this is real. Like this
Right.
could be It's been proven through other, through other experiences, through
Sure.
other jobs and projects. How do you get people to hear, not just listen? I guess, how do you get people not to? So most people hear what you're saying, but how do you get them to listen and retain that information?
That's a great question. It's a really solid question. The art is speaking in their language. Okay. Almost all human beings, and this is going to sound blasphemous in a moment, almost all human beings are the same. And I think the biggest lie perpetrated on people is that we're all snowflakes. And everybody's this new, well, I don't mean like in
get
the
what you're
current
saying,
term of snowflakes, but everybody's unique and
Yeah.
special. And
Yep.
no, we're not.
Totally get what you're
Okay,
saying.
we're not. People have traits. There are some people who are dreamers and love the big dream and love the idea, and you need to speak to them in their language. There's some people who are fear driven, and so they're protective and everything's analytical and risk averse, and so you better speak to them in their language.
Yeah.
And so what you do is you work metaphors into what it is that you're trying to communicate, right?
So when you got a panel, I'm following you.
Sure.
But if you got a panel, like before this podcast, you're on a conference call.
Correct.
And you're talking to many people with all of these different measures of
Correct.
understanding and motivation. How do you take that and communicate to them all at once? That same, how do you
There's
individually, or is it just not possible?
No, there's an art you have to layer in, and it literally is an art. It's taken me, 20
Decades.
plus years, 30 years to refine the art of being able to speak to everybody and make it sound like you're not singling any person out.
Right.
Right. So in this last conversation, we have one person who is completely fixated on ensuring that the customer is at the center of the conversation and that we don't jeopardize anything with the customer. So they're hugely risk adverse.
Fear. Yeah.
But that's their thing. They're a planner producer, right? And it's their gift.
Right.
Then you have the executive producer who's really more about message and wanting to ensure that we're producing the right product.
Concept.
But this one's worried about the X's and O's, the blocking and tackling. This one's worrying about the borders of the field.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay,
Are we
yeah.
shooting on the right goal?
Yeah.
This one's
yeah.
like, well, what goal line are we on? What do you mean, what goal? Like,
Yeah.
and then you've got the other guy going, well, what shoes should we wear?
Yeah. We're wearing cleats, or we what?
And then by the way,
Are they
is there a
Nike or-
song that goes with it? Do we have a theme song? When do we come out? So all these
What's the
people,
walkout
it
music?
takes all those people to be on the program. The other one's like, what's the logo look like? It doesn't care about the field. Like, is the logo going to be in the middle of the field or outside? How big is it going to be? What's the
Yeah.
emotion?
Yeah.
And so as a creative, you go back and you say, all right, we need to weave that whole thing together in a way that gives the risk person permission to listen to the others, that says, the executive, you've been heard and we understand the big picture.
Yeah.
We're not available to this yet. So, if you want to talk
come back
about
to
uniforms, go ahead and let's just throw out a bunch of uniform colors and things like that, get started. And these other things are going to guide the purpose later on, but might as well, because some of it may spark inspiration as we're building out the foundation.
I heard a phrase you said, not to get too much into your,
Yeah,
but
it's fine.
I heard a phrase, we will take this conversation later. You and I, we can pull that. We can have this conversation after the conference, after
Right.
the call, after this meeting.
Like offline or moving it forward.
However you said it, but yeah, so that kind of plays into what you're saying. Like, it might not be crucial right now, but you want them to understand that you heard what they're saying and you care about their what their concerns are just as much as what was actually the focus of that meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly. 1,000%. Right.
Okay.
Because then you don't want blockers. You want everybody pulling in the same direction.
Right. And then if
What am I missing here? Am I supposed, how many times?
Nope.
Oh, that's
we're
all done.
past. We got to flip.
Oh, you did. I'm like, what am I doing?
Because the reason I'm asking is because, I've been in positions I shouldn't have been in before. Like, before my time, before I deserved it, before I earned it.
Sure.
And I've been foremans, and I didn't really, and it created a sense of arrogance. And That's why I always say, like, I should not have. I got into the union at the right time. Had I got in it any earlier, I'd have probably fucked it up and put my foot in my mouth and ended up getting out. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I just wanted to know which hole.
And then yep. And then
Got it right?
But now, yes. And now I am so I became an apprentice, and I put all that aside, and I decided to go as an apprentice, and I took this role, and I did that, and I was an apprentice, and so at that point, you have zero accountability.
Sure.
And sometimes you get appointed, obviously they see your skills, they give you a little more responsibility, bump your pay maybe, this, that. But you can't get attached to that. You got to remain humble and be like, I am just an apprentice. So if you make a mistake, you're an apprentice. You're not at fault. The journeymen are. Well, now the shoe's on the other foot, and I am the journeyman.
Yeah.
And I got so accustomed to the apprenticeship role that I'm trying to... It's my job to teach these apprentices, and I have certain skills that I want to teach them, but maybe they're not the guy that's going to be that welder, because I have skills that can't be taught in an apprenticeship school. And it's trying to learn how to teach, like how to be a teacher and meet them at their terms to understand what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I'm going to ask the question like this is, do you feel like, and I just feel like an idiot asking this question because I think you've already answered it, but do you feel like everybody needs all the lessons?
Yes, they do. But when? And that's why I asked that question, because, hey, the dog has to be in the show too.
Yes, everybody on the show. It's a family affair.
It is. That it is. Yes, they do, most definitely. But do they need to have... Like I'm a specialist.
Sure.
That's a fact. And I'm a specialist. Not everybody needs that amount of information, but they do need to know to become a journeyman, you need to be well-rounded. So you do need all the information.
Right.
But let's take the specialty out of it. Just giving you the information, knowing when you need what information and where, and when you're ready to find the information.
Right.
Like, when are you ready? Am I talking to a wall, or are you an open door? Is the door cracked to where you're going to just retain a little bit, or is the door wide open and I can just give you the full depth rant and get on my soapbox and you're going to retain everything?
Right.
So when, you know what I mean? And it's trying to find that. That's the art you're talking about.
That's the art. That's the art, right? Because, and there's only one way to do it, and that's by doing it.
Right.
Okay. It's by teaching and turning. But so let's just say, for instance, you walk into a situation and you've probably seen this with leaders of yours. They tell you their story. Right. Day 1.
Yep.
Then they tell you your story again, day 7. Then 14, then blah, blah, blah. And then by the time you're ready for it, you're just bored. You don't even listen to them anymore.
Yep.
Like, I heard the story 1,000 times. Yeah, but now you need to hear it. Yeah. So you've got to be careful when you give the information, right? Yeah. To be in receipt of it. And absolutely. Yeah. And usually the most successful people are the ones that walk towards it. Right.
So that's interesting you say that, because so I have a first year. I was on this kid's first job, and I was just about to journey out. And then now this is his third job.
We're here, right?
Boom, boom, boom. Yes.
Brilliant.
And so, and also the same concept is approached in this, because I'm doing a lot of teaching for people that haven't played with Legos. And, but this kid shows initiative. He shows the fact. Did we? No,
we're good.
And he has.
I'm all excited.
He had I can give him more than he's ready for.
Sure.
And I could feel that he was ready for it, even though by level of experience, by time in the trade, he's not. And he shouldn't be in the position. I put him in a seat, a literal seat, to run a forklift for me, which puts me at risk.
Sure.
Puts him at risk, him at stress. And there's things that are going to go wrong. And in this particular story, I knew it was going to go wrong, but I put him in the right position to go wrong the right way. And it did go wrong.
I love that. Yeah. Put him in the right position to go wrong the right way. Do you guys follow that? Did
no.
anybody get hurt? Did you get whiplash?
So there's
That's awesome.
There's a lot of danger involved in what I do.
Sure.
And so this thing is connected at the bottom. It's a raked piece. So the piece, I'm gonna use this to show as a diagram. So the piece is here, and then there's another piece that comes off the bottom, and it's something like that. And then at the top, there's a little piece that floats on a Kevlar pad. So it looks about like that.
Okay.
And so the top is floating. And we need to pick it up. So he's trying to pick the forklift up right here. Well, you can't get the right angle.
No.
And it's still connected at the bottom. So it's not really going to go anywhere, but it's 60 feet long.
Sure.
So it can fall. And there's 4 of them. There's 2 internal ones and 2 on the exterior. And so there's not a lot of room either. You don't have room to get that big forklift in there to do what it needs to do. Mm-hmm. And so myself, it's already like, okay, this is not normal. I got to figure out how this is going to happen. And what kind of knot is it asking you to tie?
I'm just tying a square.
Yep, good.
I mean,
a square. That's all you need to know.
That's
As long as it's I like square. That was what I was going with. So I had to explain it to him, and I could tell he was like, okay. And he didn't want to say no because he's a first-year apprentice. But I trusted that he would retain that information. I don't mean to be I'm not trying to take control, but let me shorten up that rope. Let's get a little more. We need a little more.
How about I just use scissors?
Nope, because we might need that cable.
Look at this guy.
We might be booming out.
He's right down in the comments. He's going, "Don't be a dumbass, Wells." He's like,
We might need that. You might have just fucked up the whole. So there's certain math.
this is why we've got the sensei.
Yeah.
Keep us
Ironwork. We're doing ironwork right now. So there's math, and there's to how much cable we need and stuff to get over the wall. And this is a real crane, and we're gonna have to pick up tonnage. And so if you don't give me enough cable, and now we're short, and then what are we gonna just unhook the load? Like, so now I gotta send the crane back to the shop.
Or did you just cut it?
Gotta get. Yep.
Come on, man. I remember the one time we were doing that big show a couple of years back, at the Amway Arena, and you walked up, you go, "Why don't you just jump that solenoid?" Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Dude, you guys fucked with that shit for hours.
We were stuck. It was costing me a ton of money.
Yeah.
And I had very qualified riggers and people there, right?
Yeah.
And then they're just staring at it. And that's one of the greatest lessons is don't get stuck staring in the hole.
Yeah.
Right? You're not seeing the big picture. Like, is it necessary? Like, what's the weight on it, et cetera, et cetera. And you're like, but this is a silk. It's not going to hurt. You don't need one every foot.
Yeah.
Right? Are you going to be all right?
Bypass this.
Yeah. Could you jump it? And boom, as soon as we did that.
It's hidden, right? Is it hidden behind?
Yeah, it's completely hidden. Everything's great.
Okay, then move it.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't have the fingers to do this.
Oh, yeah. Now who's the funny mother? Yeah. I see how you are. Uh-huh.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
I got you. Oh, you got the power.
Okay, come on, Dylan. You can do it.
What else? We got a megaphone. And it is finished.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been completed.
You got a voice for that, Yeah, you definitely. Okay, sorry.
Now where do we go?
That's much better. I feel way more comfortable. We're going to have enough
inside.
cable.
It was on the inside run. Okay, bam. And we got the cable. And we're running it out. That's what it shows in the diagram.
Yep.
Boom.
Beautiful.
Boom. And now it's asking for the second half of that number right there. But it doesn't. Okay. It goes there. But it doesn't have the pin
like
yet.
There's a hole here. Right?
No. It's just the angle.
Yep.
There's going to be a...
Oh, that's why.
Right. There's going to be another one of those situations that happens later. Huh? No, it's fine.
No.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Situation here. Same, right idea, wrong side of the piece. Boom. There we go. You see that? So that had that gap there. So you're supposed to put the stud in the hole instead of pushing. It was yeah.
So got it.
Yep.
Got it. So I had used up the
pin.
portion of it inside the brick instead of
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's experience.
Yeah.
Done these too many times.
Okay, so then I need the gray one
And one of these guys.
and one of those guys.
And you got the gray right there.
Is this the one?
Yep.
I've got the power.
So
Okay.
you totally gonna divert the entire conversation to your past. At early 20s, you are master DJ, right? Correct.
I am.
We'll
Yes.
just given the title of master. I don't
Sure.
know.
I mean,
Yeah,
let's
I like it.
let's
right?
do. Yeah,
Let's
why not?
fucking-
It's bullshit.
You're
but
the
that's
guest, dude. I want to. Yeah.
Fine. Yes.
I'm trying to.
So I'm a DJ. Yes, in my 20s. That is true.
So how do you transition from that to where you are now? And what was where did you find the passion to do? Because you definitely now seeing you in your element, and it's like, how could he have done anything else?
Right.
Like even Dana, she's like, he's starting to change the house. He needs to do more work. He's starting to put his ideas into our house.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
I was like, yeah, the dining room is now his office.
Yeah, period.
Yeah, so was that always in there, or?
Yeah, there's something I share with people. For those of you who know the original Little Rascals, and there's a character by the name of Spanky, and he was always like, "Let's put on a show." Right. And so it doesn't matter from the very beginning in theater and everything else. I always dreamt of the show and what could happen and creating that space and that place. And then I've also always loved, so that's just the entertainment side. But then you say, okay, here's the people side, which is once you figure out the formula, there's nothing better. And Felicity's the absolute epitome of this weekend is nothing like tickling a baby. Like there is absolutely nothing like tickling a baby or scratching a dog's belly, right? They're just, everybody can visualize that.
Pure
Everybody
joy.
understands that. And that is the art of what it is that I do. And I just dig making something that people they didn't see coming, and then bam, it just tickles them so much and gets them so excited that they're just giddy, they're just buzzing, right? Like it's you affect their endorphins, you affect their neurons, you leave a memory that then they translate, and to have the power to leave a memory in somebody's brain is probably the ultimate art, so that's kind of what I dig doing. You know, I mean, like that's literally what gets me up in the day is, what can we do?
I love it. That's beautiful.
The world is, I think everybody should fuck with the world.
Yeah.
It's your playground. It's your stuff. Be kind. Please be kind to people out there. Be very kind. Manipulation is not a bad word unless it does evil things with it. But,
That is
getting
the right
people-
word, though.
It is. I manipulate people all the time in a positive manner to get them to have these explosive releases and have these real great moments. And as a DJ, I found that came through songs.
Okay. So you had the avenue. You just didn't have, and you just
Built on it
expanded
with-
on that.
yeah, with all the different skills.
So you were already experiencing that.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that. So it's for everybody out there.
You did this. This is this whole thing.
Yeah. I already did this too. You got to do those too.
Okay.
So my father was not around in my childhood, and no animosity. It was I had a great. You know what? If you were, I wouldn't be the person I am. So I'm glad you weren't.
Yeah.
And as weird as that sounds,
I understand. It's okay. Mine wasn't either.
Yeah, and thank God, because look at where you are and who you are today.
Exactly.
And it builds character. It's just like any failure in life. It builds character. And so with that being said, it's so weird because I always
I don't
wondered.
think I did this right. It looks like they're not supposed to be this shape. They're supposed to be double, double fold.
Same
right?
way. Yep.
Yeah.
So I had the same idea, and I pursued music in the same way that you started as a DJ. I started as an audio engineer. I actually started with playing instruments, and then the second someone offered me the table, I got behind it, and that's where I stopped everything else, and I was only on the table. And we're going to put some stickers on. I think we missed that. It's the next page. Stickers. And use the technique I taught you. Got a little more grip on that one. Yeah, so 5, 6, and then it's probably the stripes are directional, so it won't matter. So it's interesting that we both. So I always knew I'm not an idiot. I always knew I'm not gonna be some famous musician. I'm not gonna do like it's such a like the odds are 10 million to 1. There's no way. I'm not dumb. I wasn't great at anything, any of those musical things I did. But once I got behind a soundboard, I saw the impact it had on the people around me. And then that joy. And they'd come up to you after the show. And yeah, it's great to have that adoration. But the real joy was knowing that you put that smile on and they won't forget that show.
Right.
And then I started doing that with my art of welding. And I found welding in high school. And honestly, drawn to the light, shiny things, I was like, oh, shiny things. But then I started doing projects, and because I excelled so much.
Oh, I like this technique. Okay, I'm figuring it out.
Seeing it now. And I had so much, excelled so much that I started doing extra projects that weren't even in the curriculum, and doing projects. Yeah, where's the ta-da moment? Not yet.
We need some of these guys, though.
So I realized, okay, I want to do something that has the same impact as these celebrities, as these musicians, as these famous people, but I want to do it in a way. And I had a great world history teacher as a sophomore, and he said that we're all public servants. We're all, we signed this social contract, this unwritten contract, and we're all here to serve each other. So I was like, okay, I need a service, and then I want that service to bring great joy to the world. And I was so small-minded because I just said I want to do one thing. And granted, I come from a little town, right? So I had a really shallow ceiling, and I think a lot of people can understand that. And I was like, okay, so I just want to do one thing in the world that people that's weird. People come all over the world to see, like not even all over. I just want to do something that people travel to see, and I can know inside. I don't want the credit for it. I just want to do it, and that way inside I'll know. And now with the technology of social media, I've been able to do things and see people I know. And they don't know I built it, and I could see them taking pictures in front of shit I made, and it brings such great joy to my heart.
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm like, I did that
for
you without even knowing you were going to be the one I did it for. Mm-hmm. And now, and I'm not going to get into it, but all the things that I've done and how big my impact has been on the world.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't need to be spoken, but you understand. And you've even spoken to how I don't like to talk about that. But
well, I mean, from that perspective, you've put your name on some massive buildings.
Yeah,
they got a D on there somewhere. I know.
Yeah, it's in the paperwork. It's written in stone.
Yeah.
It'll go down in history on several different aspects, and been a part of history, and it's incredible. And I had imposter syndrome for a while about that, but the joy, the ability to bring that joy, and now it's beyond just bringing joy to people. It's impacting the entire world. Like I've helped do things for the government and do things for billionaires and huge corporations.
People are going to space. Going into freaking Mars and shit.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
It's hard to talk about it without talking about it, but
I know you don't like to talk about it, but let's not talk about it, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, let's not talk about, the NBA building, with
Hayward Field, the oldest wooden arena in most track trials and
Yeah,
you
we're not
know,
going to talk about that. You know,
it's not
we're not gonna
about. I
talk
don't
about
like to talk
SpaceX
about
or anything either. So I'm not.
Yes,
I'm not
NASA,
talking about it.
We're not talking about NASA.
Not talking about that.
And you know, sending people back to the moon and shit like that, and
But,
to
you know,
space.
I mean, if we were to talk about it, I was, but I wouldn't. It's just stuff. Yeah.
And I hit this accomplishment very young with building a event center in the Ghirardelli Chocolate Factory, and that was the pinnacle. I was like, man, I'm 19 years old. I already did it. I'm done. What do I do now? and then I, you know, continued down, and I had one of the things that I found the most joy though was where it was direct and where I did have the credit and where people did know my name was owning a gym. Mm-hmm. And then I directly, yeah, it's great, and all the other things are just as cool. But we gotta hit the thing. All right, you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time. If you check the graphics.
It's gonna Oh my god, this is wow.
But
That's awesome, dude.
seeing watching
go.
those people progress, watching someone shed pounds, watching all this stuff,
Yeah.
and like seeing the joy directly, like in your face, like kind of how like you see that dream of someone gives you this idea, and you're there, and you get to directly see it. There is something more powerful to that. It's cool to know all the other things I've done and how it impacts the world and everything, and you know, Starlink and all this cool shit, but the best, most rewarding was when it was directly in person and I got to watch those people. And I think about that all the time.
Yeah, man.
I loved having that ability to like change people's life directly. And,
Help me with this. I don't know what's happening here. Feels like it's
I don't
supposed
know.
to go in there.
Yeah, but how far? Maybe not far. Maybe right there. Maybe it's a stop. Boom, stop.
Seems
Yeah,
weird.
because oh, you know what? I fucked up.
Uh-oh.
Yep, the Wii moment got ahead of me. But yeah, I'm sure you've experienced that, right? Like, because you've done a lot of events that have, you know.
Yeah, I think most of that stuff came, Dylan, in the coaching and development of my team members
actual
over
team.
20 years, you know.
Okay.
And those are the moments, you know, because that's where the real work is put in.
Right.
You know, once you're doing a show site, and there are moments where it was like really cool, but you're really letting the environment and some of the activities, and there's so many more people involved at that time
It's
to bring
not
that
just
together.
you, yes.
Oh God, it's never just me.
Right.
But you know, as a true leader or coach, which, you know, as a gym person coaching someone,
Yeah.
you know, as a coach working with those talents and knowing when to push, when to tell them, hey, back off a little bit, you're fine. You
Yeah,
know,
rest,
talk them
do
off.
this.
Yeah, talk them off the ledge. Make it a little harder. You know, one of the things I call the teeter totter effect. As a leader, we use a little illustration. As a leader, my job is this, right? So everybody says, I want balance, right?
Yeah.
I want balance. Well, if you look at it like this, balance is literally no action.
Yeah, yeah.
In the world of it, it's stagnant, okay? So how long are you going to stay a place where you're stagnant?
You should
Not
hopefully
very
never.
long, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is, as a leader, my job is this, okay? My job is to throw a whole bunch of shit on the one end of the teeter-totter and let you work to figure it out.
To
Okay,
balance
so it's
it
like
back.
this, to balance, and then when you finally figure it out, it starts to become easy, and now you're back here at the end.
Yeah.
So
or
then
you put a little too much and you're
I
like,
throw
okay, I'm gonna
a little
pull
bit
one.
more
Yeah.
on there. Brr.
Yeah.
You work a little harder.
And then you watch them grow.
Right.
This is the growth.
But
side.
if you're figured it all out and it's sitting back there like that, how long are you going to stay in the business? You're going to
long,
fucking hate
yeah.
it,
Yep.
right? Because you're not challenged, you're not bored. So it's this beautiful ride that you try to make sure that you're not just dumping all your shit on one end that the person can never accomplish.
It's the champ that wins the belt and falls.
Right.
He's like, well, I got the thing that I worked my whole life for. Now what?
Yeah.
Well, you got to defend it. You got to, you know, there's another challenge out there.
I forgot who it was the other day. Some folks were, I'm stealing this, but, and I think I shared it with you, is marriage is not is not the finish line.
Nah.
Only the beginning. Your
Yep.
wedding day, and everybody builds up. I got married, and they spend 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever, all this thing to the finish line. I did it. I got married. I got a husband. I got a thing. That's just the beginning, kid.
Yep.
Like, that's just the starting line, not the finish line, right? Like, there's so much more.
This thing's gonna last a lifetime.
That's what you said.
If you work,
Right.
if you understand it's not the finish line,
Yeah.
and you just started,
Yeah.
it's
a whole
you
thing.
literally don't even know how to dribble the
I think
ball
that's
yet.
upside down.
Nope,
You sure?
100%.
Oh, because you're upside down.
Yeah,
So you're installing it upside down and backwards so that it's right side up.
yeah, because you want to
proper.
pick a corner. You always
I
want
love
to pick
it.
a corner because corners give you symmetry, so that way you make sure it's straight. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. I didn't show anybody.
You want to always
This is
pick
more
the corner.
about yeah.
I know.
So this corner. So I placed it like this right here. So that way I could get that corner even. And I'm a man of symmetry. My art teacher told me this a long time. I don't think art's quite for you. And, she told me to make an abstract building, and I
was
made a picture
perfect.
frame. I made a window frame. yeah, perfectly
okay.
symmetrical. Symmetrical.
That's fantastic.
And yeah, you got one more there. Yep.
One more?
Yep. So
This
I'll
is-
demonstrate this for the people because
Boom.
you called me out on it.
Boom.
Okay, so we're gonna be here. So we're gonna place that sticker right there in the corner, and then you just lightly place it. Oh, I don't like that. I want it lower, and then it's light enough that you can remove it if you fuck it up, but still. And that one's a little crooked, but if you don't press too hard when you do it, you see I made the final adjustment after it was already placed, and I was able to straighten it out. And now that it would tell you your rating of what the capacity is. Now, if I saw that, I would say it's about a 60-ton crane.
Okay.
Or a 60T, and I don't know. There's all kinds of different ratings, but it would be, that has to do with how much the crane can hold.
Gotcha.
This is a cool little crane. Yeah, I really like it. You probably need that piece, maybe.
I need this piece, and I need this piece, and I need this piece,
That goes on that piece.
like that. What? Word
So
to your mogwai.
with this concept of and it really is, that's the same reward I find. That's what you said is, it's because building the big things are cool, but then speaking on it becomes braggadocious. Like, it wasn't me. I
No.
was a part of it. I just feel blessed and honored that they picked me
Yeah.
to be a
When
part
somebody
of.
says I did something,
We did.
well, yeah, I'm kind of like, did you?
Yeah.
Did you, like, what part of it, or did you actually do? You're like, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was one project I did where this man really freaked me out. And he really fucked with my head because he's sitting there and we're at the end of the job and he goes, Dylan. And I'm a boomer from Florida out there in Oregon, just kicking ass and taking names. And he goes, Dylan, you single-handedly built 50% of this project. And that shit freaked me out. And then there was a mountain, there was this hill we had climbed, and I got to look down on this. And I'm a man of faith, and I believe in God, and I don't want to take credit. I didn't put myself here. I just followed the path. I
Sure.
had faith. I followed the path.
Exactly right.
And so when I look down on the earth and I see something, and this is a town that doesn't have, it's not a city. So when you build something that monstrosity like that, it leaves a mark. It's an iconic thing. And the last one was around 100 years. This is made of steel. This will be around 300 years. This will be around till they demo it.
Wow.
And so it'll long surpass my daughter's lifetime and my grandchildren's lifetime. And so it was hard, the ego, right? That's like, it was really weird. And he'd already told me that. And I was like, oh, I had a little bit of a moment there. And I had to just release that and just give all the credit and all the glory to God and just understand, like, this is not me. This is through me, but it is not me.
Just
and like
a
you
vehicle.
said, we didn't, even though I did the majority of the welding, someone had to build it in a fab shop. Someone designed it. It's not me. I didn't do this. I'm just a vessel that
Yep.
put it together.
Right.
And like I said, I couldn't create this concept, but I can build it for you. And so after that, I realized,
Ladies and gentlemen, it is surprise time. Oh my goodness, we're putting a crane on. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is.
cool. And then I guess this guy goes in there.
Yeah, man.
I don't know what side. You better tell me.
No.
Down.
Yeah. You need
Anywhere
a
in there.
thingy jobber. Yeah, it goes in that side. No, that's already there.
Right here.
Yeah, I know, but it needs to put one of these things on.
I don't know what I was saying. What was I saying?
I think you were
about-
just wrapping up the fact that it was, there it goes. That you're just the vessel. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
those projects aren't I love the joy it brings to the other people and the people that get to go there, but it's the building of the team and the people. What I remember most about those projects, and I've never been back to a project I ever built, and it's the camaraderie, the team. I remember the people that we made connection. My best friend I met on that job.
Really?
Yeah. And we still in contact. And I haven't seen him in years, but we talk all the time.
Nice.
And that's what I love that. And if my family's around, yeah, I'm gonna go and be like, hey, we're gonna take a tour around the city. I'm gonna show you what I did.
Yeah,
But
of course.
no one else. And I found that I used to,
Most
and this
people
is a
don't.
traditional
Most
iron
people
worker.
won't fucking.
Yeah.
They'll listen to about 2 seconds.
Yep. Well,
And then they're like,
and
"Meh."
so this is something I witnessed with my own eyes. And this is why I said we're not even going to bring up the specifics on the podcast, because I witnessed this, and someone gave me a compliment about not doing this when we were at a barbecue with Alexa's coworkers when I lived in the Tri-Cities in Washington, and iron workers are notorious for bragging about what they do. I built that, and the eye. No. It was hundreds or thousands of us that did it, and then there was hundreds before that designed it and engineered it,
And then there was the guy who went and got the money for it. And convinced the city. that it
Nike,
could go
the
there or
billionaire
whatever,
that spent decades, half a century,
Yeah.
amassing the funds to do it,
Yeah.
or lobbying the government to give the money.
Yeah. All the things.
Yep. But iron workers are notorious for saying "I," and to anybody, not just when I'm telling you that I did that, I'm not saying that I did that.
Of course not.
And same when you do this, when your family knows you intimately, or anybody that knows you intimately, they know that. But so I would talk about these.
Oh, now we're running the cable.
Yep. And I
Up
think
there.
the cable comes from cable comes here. Oh, did we spool it backwards? I think we spooled it backwards.
I did it the way it told me to do it.
I know. I didn't say. I said we. We. This is a we thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
okay. Nope, we did it the right way.
Yeah, it showed a little arrow.
So just like I don't take credit for the success, I will also fail. I also include everybody in the failure as well.
I'm going to be like, you fucked that up.
So some of these things that were bigger than me, I witnessed people, I could see it in their eyes. And tell me if you ever experienced this, but they'd ask, what do you do? What have you done? And they asked me. So I'm just sharing information. I'm not bragging. You brought it up. I'm going to tell you. And I would do that. And then you would see a look in their face that and I can tell you this, and they never said it. And that's when I know that it was a real thing. You could just see that they never achieved anything in their life, or they
Comparison is the thief of joy.
yeah, and it would steal the I would feel bad, and I start feeling bad, and you could just see their face melt, and you could start seeing that they are reflecting on every failure they ever had. You could use this. You can use that.
This.
There you go.
The walkie-talkie.
And so I quit talking about that stuff, and I just I build buildings, and I just tell them the basis of ironwork, because I don't want to steal that joy. I'm trying to have a conversation. I want to connect to you. I don't want
Right.
to. I became isolated. I became somebody you can't relate to.
Exactly right.
And like, if it was a weird feeling, and I didn't like that. And so I learned, and the best compliment I ever got was her coworker said, "He's not like normal iron workers."
Nice.
And you really had to pry it out of me to get.
Are you sure he didn't say he's not normal?
He might have meant that, but yeah,
I got you.
It really made me understand. Okay, this is the right way of thinking about things, because that's gonna be
Got the little hook thing there. Okay. Wonder where this guy goes.
that goes on the plate. That's our picking guy. Yeah, I'm gonna run a bowling. Do you know what a bowling is?
It's a knot.
Yes, it is.
How about that? Nailed that one, ladies and gentlemen. Nailed it.
You
Don't
did.
know what it is, but I know it's a knot.
It's a bowline, and we use it every day in the trade.
There's one more.
Oh shit, we'll save it.
One more
We'll
moment.
save it.
One more moment.
You did great. By the way, you did great. You really killed it.
Thanks, man.
And it was fun getting to like share these concepts and ideas, because we had the same, obviously it's in our blood, but we took different avenues to share the same ideology with the world. Mm-hmm. Am I misstepping, or
No, it's perfect.
Right?
Same.
Yeah.
Sames.
Just to bring joy to others.
There's only 2 more hours left on the cast. You're fine. We'll be
About 2 minutes.
We'll be out
we're gonna go-
out of here by 7:30.
We'll be at my favorite restaurant in about an hour. The Hangry Bison. There we
There
go.
it is.
It's a bowling. Bobby
Damn.
bowling.
Babby. Hey, Bobby.
Yeah. So that's a little bit. That's probably the most I've shared about myself on this podcast. So good for you for getting it out of me.
I'm a talker. That's my podcast.
And I'm
I don't
very
really say too
comfortable
much.
around my father. So
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, right. You have guests. It's
That's
about
right.
the guests.
It's always about the guests.
This time I kind of took the scene.
Yeah.
But I got a lot out of you too, and I appreciate you sharing that. And
Of course.
it's cool to see the difference, to see that.
Where do we go? Ooh.
Boom, booming up,
Boom.
booming up. So this called. So you're gonna boom down and hold the load. So this symbol, or it'd actually be this right here. This is booming up, hold the load. This will be booming down. So we're gonna boom up and hold the load. This is the signal for that. So you're gonna hold the load so that cable never moves, and so you're holding the load. You see how it just stays in the same spot.
Yeah.
And then this for when if you have a tagline or something, this is boom out, so the jib will come out, and this is boom in, and so we would suck it up, and then we're gonna run that cable down, and we don't have an operator in the seat, but that's okay. It's manually operated anyways. Iron worker hooks up, he's fucking send it.
Nice. Send it.
Yep, and we need way more stick. They don't have enough stick. That's kind of fucked up, dude. We don't have enough stick. This is so when the iron worker ordered,
Smashes the shit out of the window.
when the iron worker ordered this crane, they didn't do the right math, and they need way more stick. But I got more stick at the house, so I can make
Gotcha.
that right.
Okay.
I got bigger pieces. I can make that. Yeah.
All right.
But overall, that's it, boys.
That is it, ladies and gentlemen. What you think?
Swinging around.
Skirt.
Yep.
We should be off the rubber, yeah, for sure. For the swinging.
There we go. Yep, and that is a mobile crane.
Yeah.
And it should not be hitting the roof, so we're going to jib up. Yep. Beautiful. Well, sir. Love
That
you,
was
Dad.
awesome. Love
Thanks
you
for
too,
being on the
son.
podcast.
Oh, this is great. Thanks for having me.